Hello and welcome back to Dev Diary number 3, where we'll be looking at transport and cargo, which I'm very excited about. This is a live reaction that happens every single Monday on the build up to CS2. Now, very quickly, they do have some extra videos about developers talking about some extra bits. I just want to very quickly look at something that they have now confirmed in the game. Here you can see the police headquarters, or you can't see it because it's my head behind my head, but you can now select the operating districts, meaning if you want police cars or any sort of service vehicle to only service certain areas within your city, you can now do that, which is wonderful. So very excited about that. Let's jump back because this one is starting very soon. We're excited, or I'm excited. This one's gonna be very interesting. And I'm sure they're going to be showing off a hell of a lot, but I'm excited. Let's do this.
Transport networks set the rhythm of life in your city. As they move people and cargo, they can create harmony and discord. This finely tuned orchestra of ships, vehicles, planes, and trains is yours to conduct. To create a thriving metropolis, maintain a steady beat to keep your city in motion. You build a city from scratch in Cities Skylines 2. No public transport, no tracks, no runways. Creating these and other transportation networks is a crucial first step. After that, improving and integrating them paves the way for expansion. When you establish your city, citizens can take the bus or a taxi to get where they're going. These are the first transport options you'll unlock. They're reliable, cheap, and easy to route here, there, and everywhere. Traffic conditions are their Achilles heel. It's no big deal in a new metropolis, but it is for a growing city. That's when you'll level up your public transport. Think trains, trams, and subways. Each one has pros and cons. They're all expensive to build and complicated, requiring depots, tracks, and stops where passengers can buy tickets and get on and off. That means they can't offer the far-reaching service of a bus line or the door-to-door service of a taxi. On the other hand, they're more efficient, not least because they carry more people and cargo and reduce road congestion. Let's start with subways. They're fast, high capacity, and they take up very little room when they're underground. If they operate above ground, you can run them on elevated tracks so they don't get tangled up with road traffic. Trams. They're more flexible than trains, so you can more easily add lines to service new and expanded neighborhoods. Build tram tracks on existing roads, or run them on dedicated tracks if that's the best way to keep the hustle and bustle dialed up. Trains carry loads of people too, and not just suburbanites. They can bring visitors from outside your city in large numbers. Trains play another critical role as cargo transport. Build a cargo train terminal, and you build a hub where businesses can receive, ship, and store incoming and outgoing goods. Water transportation is another option for passenger travel and moving cargo. It's another high-capacity network, though water transport's real potential lies in imports and exports. You see, cargo ships might be slower than trains, but these bad boys can carry 1,000 tons of stuff to and from your city. Yeah, that's right. You can trade with other cities. So you'll need somewhere to house all the goods and resources coming and going. Easy. Like cargo train terminals, cargo harbors double as cargo storage facilities. Like all of the other networks, air transportation has drawbacks. Planes carry fewer passengers and less cargo than ships and trains. Airports are also astronomically expensive and have the footprint of a small town. However, air transport has a pretty irresistible advantage: speed. Plus, planes won't add to road congestion, they don't follow a rigid track, and they make outside connections incredibly easy. The transport mix in your city will become complex and intricate. Use the transportation overview to review passenger and cargo transportation networks separately. Filter again by transport type to see high-level details about individual lines and toggle them on or off. Use the transportation info view to understand the impact of your networks. Plan and manage transportation networks carefully to find the right tempo for the movement of people and cargo. Conduct it perfectly, and every citizen, trader, and tourist will march your city toward greatness.
Okay, a lot to take in on that. Oh my good lord. Okay, there is so much information there. We're going to have to get really detailed, really go into this. Oh my god, there was so much. At first, I was like, okay, so it's setting like the basis for potentially new players, but there are some very specific things in here that I want to point out to you in case you missed it. But we'll be going through it as we always do, shot by shot, because there have been some confirmations that you can now do in-city transport between ships and planes, and I will go back to that. Okay, there was a lot of information there. Let's skip through. I'm trying to remember where we got to, and then we'll have a look and see if the Steam store has updated. So obviously a lot of first looks at all the new buildings. So not new airport, but we have a good look of the airport here. You can see the cargo docks up here as well. It's very nice and very modern airport as well. I do have to say that. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's also have a look at this. Ooh. There we go. Okay, so where is this in this main city that we have seen these docks quite often, so I don't think this is, although I feel like this is a little bit later on because these buildings look a lot more built up and a lot more modern, so I think this might be as time has progressed, if I'm completely honest. It also looks like we've got either a highway here or some sort of rail corridor. Not entirely sure just yet, but very intriguing. Very intriguing. Also, we've always seen this part of the city, but now we've seen it in 3 stages, right? So we've seen it before, we've seen it slightly not built up. I think this is the one that we've always seen, and then one that's even less. So it's very nice to see how the progression, the timeline is advanced. These very interesting buildings. I'm gonna guess this is like early city, but very interesting buildings. I'm not quite sure what these would be, if I'm completely honest. Yeah, I wouldn't have the foggiest. I'm gonna guess just like low density stuff, but like even these don't look like houses to me. Like, I'm just trying to see what's on them. Maybe like low density shops, or maybe some sort of like mini market of types. I'm not entirely sure. What does that become again? Yeah, it's very, very hard to tell what that is. I have to have a look into this. So here we've got our first glimpses of some, I think this is a passenger boat, if I'm completely fair. And this is just confirmed this is the highway running along here, not train network. So I'll take that back. See these docks up here as well. But again, nothing. I think maybe a few new buildings that we've seen. This one definitely looks new and modern, which is quite exciting. A lot of this city we've seen before in different shots, but that's fair. And again, this is the city just from another angle. Again, stuff that we've already seen. Let's keep on going. Okay, so here you can see a bus. You can see here actually there is a car, a passenger terminal here. Let me just play this and see what happens. Let's turn off the volume for this. Yeah, so you can see it slowly turning, which is interesting. And I see taxis have returned to the game as well. And so they said that buses and taxis are the first ones that you'll be unlocking, which is lovely. But obviously this is a lot later. Now, one thing I have noticed, there are so many buttons here. And you can clearly see that this is just buses. But we've got 2 hubs. And then we've got all of this. Now, obviously, these are like bus lanes. I'm going to guess. Interesting. So, what I think we might have here, and I'm probably wrong, but what we might have is bus stops, exchanges, or like double stops, and then the bus route. And then the same with the taxis, although I'm not really sure what there's 2 lots here. And I'll explain why, and I'll pick it up again in a bit. But it looked like you place a bus stop or a bus exchange, and then you link in on the bus route where you want them. So instead of us, it's almost like adding another step to the original CS game. Again, I could be wrong. Because I'm not really seeing much on this screen. Obviously, there's like nice little icons around showing us where the bus is. But even here, And I think this is what confirms it, because it looks like, I might have to zoom in a little bit. It looks like there is a bus stop there, which means that you can put it in rather than, and maybe it's the same with trams. Maybe it's the same with trams, but I can't see something here. So I'm curious. We'll probably pick things up as we go through. I'm just trying to see. Again, cargo routes confirmed with both trains, boats, and airplanes. So that's very good to see. But yeah, let's carry on. So yeah, this I'm gonna say is like a connecting thing. Taxi depot. So that's what this building is. So we've got 2 lots of buses or bus depots, 1 taxi depot. I love this design as well. Looks very unique. So this is what I was on about. So yeah, I think maybe they've added in an extra step to I'm not sure why. It does seem a little bit weird to do that, but I'm actually really intrigued to see how it works. So you've got 3 different bus stops, and then you can choose which stop you want it to go at. Now, actually, I'm going to rewind that just a second, because it looks like on there, it's not even connected. So maybe what they're saying is you can choose to either have it on the road and people cross. Maybe there's like, if there's like a middle part to the road, or you can get it into bus stops depending on how you want the city to look. So that's an interesting thing. I didn't really consider that. Again, nice screenshots. Again, I think, yeah, we've seen this area before. Nothing new that I can see here. So zooming out. Trains. Now, I'm gonna take guesses. A passenger train station. Looks wonderful. Very modern, very sleek. I like the idea of it. They've kept the similar design with the interlocking carriages, where they are just like fixed. I hope they kind of iron that out and make it a little bit more bendy where they can. Love the double decker. I'm still baffled by this. The UK, where I'm from, they do not do double decker trains, and I assume that this is because there's a lot of low bridges. Every other place that I've been to, double decker trains are a thing. I love them. I think they should be utilized here, but I understand why they can't. I love these things. Probably a little bit of a rant. Nice tram, of course, very seamless. These are obviously the cargo. Now, one thing I did notice, I think the cargo trailers change depending on how much cargo you've got, because in this shot, you can see it's full right here, but in other shots, I've seen that they're empty. So I'm wondering if they change depending on the load, which I'm very excited about. Also, hospital. Didn't see that one before. Looks very nice. Let's carry on. Okay, so we've already seen a similar thing here. Now, one thing that is new. Now, I'm wondering what this is. So I'm looking at this loop here, which is obviously on every sort of route now. There are different things here. So I'm trying to figure out what these mean. I've got a feeling. So we have selected this one. This is the one we're on. I'm going to guess that all these blocks are the rest of the buses on this line. Doesn't actually say how many buses are on this line in this little tab, hence why I'm not going to hide my face. But some of them have like 3 dots. This one has 4. You can just about see that by my face. Some of them have 2. I'm going to guess that that is an indication of how busy these buses are. Also, these little dots, I'm going to guess how many people are waiting at these stops. So you have a clear indication rather than like having to go in. And because I think this might be a mods thing, but you could only really do that with improved public transport and some other mods as well. So that's very interesting to see. And I think that's probably right. Taxis being reckless with their driving. Nice tram shot. Love this lighting effect as well. So now, this is a lot. This is a lot. So you can very clearly see like the amount of tourists, the amount of citizens. Love the breakup of that. Obviously confirming that most of the cargo that's coming in at the station is by, or the cities by train. But there is a lot of stuff to see here, and I'm trying to I'm trying to see it. So I think, so what are we looking at here? So I think in these overviews, you're going to see a lot of stuff, right? So I'm going to guess these are all your stops, the ones with the buses. Same with the trams, maybe? Tram stops. And then the indication above each of the transport options are either how busy they are. Well, no, yeah, I'd assume that's actually how busy they are. Very interesting to see. Now, I'm also having a look around because we have this map legend down here. So, I can already see that this bit here is... Ooh, now what color is this? Public transport station? Probably not. I'm trying to figure out what this color is. I think it's too green to be a ship pier. So maybe it's a passenger transport vehicle? No, that can't be right. This color here doesn't match up with... Well, maybe it kind of does. Maybe it kind of does. So I feel a feeling maybe this is a ship pier, or maybe some sort of ferry pier. Back here, we've got dark green. But again, that doesn't really match up either, because that would indicate subway stops, but I don't think that's true. And over here, we've got like a brown, which is a public transport depot. So maybe the colors are slightly off. Not entirely sure. There's also green icons back here indicating the trains. Very good to see. Very good to see. Taxis up here. These purple bits, I'm not entirely sure what these are. I think these might be the flight paths, which shown a little bit later. And then there's this. This icon right here, I cannot figure out what this is. To me, it kind of says... Like, there's a little clock on there by the looks of things. I'm wondering if this is like a terminal or a hub of some sort. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure, but that's quite interesting. Maybe it'll explain it a little bit on the Steam Workshop. But very interesting. Very interesting. Again, so, and it also, this is something else that I'm very excited about. You can take off that annoying white overlay. Because the amount of times you'd be trying to play stuff, I'm so glad if that's a thing that you can deactivate. Very happy about that. Again, very similar. We can see these here. We've got potentially the trams on this line. But here, all these dots around here, there's some behind my head, but none of them have the dark circles on, which is why I'm kind of thinking it might be something else. You can also see there is a section here. Oh, actually, now, this is something I didn't notice. So I'm looking at this strip. There is a middle parting here in the road. I'm not sure what you'd call that, like a median. And then there's nothing down here and there's nothing up there. But then it splits off again. So I'm going to guess on this part, maybe the trams have their own separate lines, but this part, maybe the road widens. I'm not entirely sure. But then obviously this also goes this way. Ooh. Okay, so I think this purple line is this tram. But then there's more that go this way. That's very interesting to see. Oh, actually, yeah. So you can see it goes off this side. Okay, so it's not... Obviously, you could have more than one tram route on a particular line anyway, but it's nice to see how these overlap, actually. Very intriguing. See, metro stations look very nice. Now... I'm gonna display in my head just for 1 second. Can be upgraded with station services. And obviously, you have this upgrade here. I'm going to guess then, maybe you can get food and drink in certain subway lines. Which, A, has never been done before. Very excited about that. But again, this reinforces my idea that we are directly using our industry to influence our city. Because there was livestock and other things like plastic and stuff. And maybe we are going to be creating our own produce in the city, which I'm very, very excited about. I mean, you could do that in CS1 as well. Let me reiterate that. You could do that in CS1, but you'd never be able to fully track it. So that is something to be aware of. Again, very similar. You've got a singular dot here. I'm going to guess not a very busy line, but very interesting to see this. What have we got up here? Efficiency, 118. 4 out of 4 employees, 58. Comfort. Comfort is an interesting one here. Also looks like... I'm gonna guess maybe one of these subways... No. Okay, this is interesting. So we've also got 3 lines here. This one's obviously the yellow one. This one's probably the red one that I'm gonna guess. maybe you... Yeah, interesting. I don't know why this is coming off here. Maybe to stop any backup of traffic, potentially. But very interesting it crosses here. Might have to have a look into that a little bit more. Because you can obviously see double lines. Overground subway station. Very nice. Very modern as well. Very sleek. Right opposite the airport as well. Which is interesting to see. And yeah, it does look like they are using both. So I'm wondering if you can have stops on either side of the lines. But it's good to see. Regardless. No trains on this one. This upgrade, though, what is this? Oh, also can be upgraded with station services. So I'm going to guess maybe the station services look different per service. Or per station, even. So you had the underground one, which looked like food and drink restaurants. This one could just be shops along the front. Or maybe taking up some of the side stuff. Very interesting to see. What's got a white line here? I'm going to guess bus. But just because I can see some sort of station here, but there's also this yellow. And this, I'm going to guess, is a service vehicle. Because it kind of looks like a garbage vehicle. Could be wrong. See, very nice metro going over the water. So that's confirmed both over and underground. And on ground, I guess. Nice side shots of buildings. Taxi 5. I'm going to guess like there's a limit. Obviously, there's a limit to how many people can get in a taxi. Maybe 5 is the limit for this. Again, okay, so I think this reinforces my idea that you can now place certain stops and then you need to connect the transport lines into these stops. I would be interested to see if you can do it without a stop. So maybe they're giving you the idea of being to be precise with placing it freely, or if you just want to quickly like snap it, maybe that's why they're doing it like that. Which could be actually a very good feature. Oh, this one's taking. Okay. So we knew about this, upgrading lines. Same scenario. Obviously, this is tram, so tram depot, tram lines. Now that's interesting to see. These tram roads only have the one pipe underneath them. So I'm going to guess that's electric. But very intriguing to see that. Because most of the other roads that aren't transport don't have that. Now that's something to think about. But similar, so we've got the tram stops, we've got the tram routes, we've got the tram roads, both two-way and one-way, and the depot. Pretty self-explanatory. Same there, obviously on and off-road. There we go, so there's the thing again. But, let's go back again. Go away, train. That looked more like a free-form place. What tool have we got? We have this tool. So, are we saying then... hang on. Let's just see that get placed again. Okay, so I think that is going to... That's probably going to work in the same way that the buses do. So you can either place it freely, or you can just quickly snap to it. That's what I'm going to guess. I could be completely wrong. Again, this is a live reaction, so... Trains, obviously, know and love them. Perfect. Double-decker trains. Single-lane traffic. Double-lane traffic. This is madness. This is madness. So... There's a lot to take in here, and here's why. There are 2 types of trains here. So I'm now wondering. So we've got 3 things here as well. I'm now wondering, I'm going to say it for a third time. If what we have here is a station that does both passenger and cargo. Because it is separated here as well. And then we have one for passenger and one for cargo. Could be wrong with that. It could just be 3 different options, and then you can choose to have them both in. I'm not entirely sure. Do they place this one? They do. So all this leveled up as well, which I'm going to guess is more of a tourist thing. I was kind of hoping... Oh, okay. So this is a cargo train terminal. So I think that's just confirmed what I was thinking about. So you have one for both, one for just cargo, and one for just passengers. A large warehouse where cargo trains can load and unload cargo. To and from truck can be upgraded with a storage warehouse and extra tracks. Now, extra tracks is an interesting term. So maybe if there's too much cargo coming in to one and it's causing a bit of a backlog, you can then like increase it. That would be interesting. That is very interesting. Road, cargo, all these look lovely as well. I do like the look of these. Okay, so now we're on to boats. I've realized, how long have we been recording? 28 minutes, jeez. Okay, we're going to crack on with this one as quickly as we can. So you can see all the cargo here. Bigger boats as well, bigger and smaller boats by the looks of things. 2 different types of ferries that I just saw. God, I really hope my waters don't get too busy, that's for sure. Warehouse stuff as well, very intriguing. What is this? This is a cargo hub for boats, I'm going to assume. Because we have a boat here. I can't really see train tracks as such. Obviously, all these like little tracks are for the big cranes. If these move, I'm going to be so excited. If these move, I'm going to be so excited. Planes as well. Now, it didn't really show too much about cargo as such. But let's keep on skipping. So, passenger airplane. Again. Now, this is what I'm excited for. So 2 dots, but we have 2 stops. My head is covering one of them. We have 2 stops. This one down here, very busy. This one, not so much. Do we now have the ability to send people on a plane to different parts of the city? I think so. I think so. And if that is the case, I'm very happy about that. I'm super happy about that. Can you tell? Can you tell? Jesus Christ, yeah, there's a lot on here as well. Okay, so there are some icons here. Some of them look the same. We've got this one here. We've got this one over here. So I've got a feeling maybe... okay, I've answered my earlier question as well. So this icon is all rail, but you can see that icon that I was considering before is also here. I think this is ferry-based. Whether that's passenger or cargo, not entirely sure yet, because you can see the blue is where the path is, and I'm gonna guess that's the same for those 2, although it doesn't look like there's a river back there. I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that. But it's amazing to see all this. I worry about the specs, but they've already confirmed those. It's not too bad. I can understand why they'd prefer to have like the 20 series as like the, not the minimum requirements, but the recommended requirements. Also back here, there's some like roads. I'm gonna guess this is going out of the city, where the connections are, in and out of the city, because there's like 3 icons here. So there's like a road, there's a green one, which could be trains in and out. I'm wondering if that's how that's done now. See, dark blue for ferries as well. Very good. Very, very good. Ugh. Okay, hang on. I want to see if I can get that little shot just before that popped up. Damn it. There's like a tiny... There we go. There we go. Ooh, okay. Maybe I was wrong again. Maybe I was wrong again. Okay, so these purple lines are definitely the flight paths. Because originally I said that these little ones might have been something else. But maybe I am wrong here. Unless they're... What would those be? Because they are both the same. Okay, so maybe what they are just hubs in general. Could be a thing. I know what they are. I know what they are. These are hubs. These other icons, the ones that look like yards, are depots. That makes more sense. That makes more sense. There's also a red icon here. I'm going to say, it's very zoomed in. I'm going to say that's a bus that's maybe overcrowded. So maybe the color coordinated to see how crowded they are. Again, you can see this out here as well. I'm going to guess this is an outside connection. Road. All outside connections. Very interesting to see. Okay, yeah, I think that's what they are. So these are your hubs. These are your depots, which makes a lot more sense in my brain. Probably going to confirm them in a bit. Also, public transport with cargo as well. Very good to see that. Obviously, I'm going to guess trams don't have cargo, so it'll probably just take them down. Let's just go. There we go. So you can only get cargo via trains, planes, and boats. Absolutely fine. I kind of love that. I do kind of love that. I'm gonna guess that you can send cargo into city as well. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully more gets released about that. And then public transport, of course. I'm hoping there's no limit to lines, but it looks like at the moment looks pretty. I'm pretty happy about it. Same setup. We've got little squares to say where the boats are, a little circle to see how busy they are. 2 stops. Okay, that's confirmed it. At least for the this is a ship line. Doesn't say what type. Maybe it's both. No, it's definitely passenger because there's a ticket price for it as well. So that's good to see though. I do like this format. I will say it's very clean. I do like it. Learn a little bit more about planes, a little bit more decorative stuff. And here's what I was on about. These trailers are empty. I think they change. And I'm pretty happy about that. Oh my god, the more that I see, the more excited I am. Okay, very, very interesting. Let's quickly go to Steam and see if they've updated this. I'm hoping that they have. If not, how dare they? How dare they? Let's go back to CS and cargo and public. Okay, let's have a look. Obviously, we're not going to watch it, but there is a few stuff. Okay. We won't read through this. I'm just going to skim through and read very, very quickly. So obviously we knew about this. Intercity buses can stop at bus stations, or they can drop off and pick up passengers from one or more regular bus stops. Okay, so that's already changed. We've already got intercity buses from the get-go. Plus either a bus stop sign or a shelter on a... That's what that is. So you can either do a shelter or just a bus stop sign. Okay, that's probably where I was getting confused by which one's which. They are 2 separate things. Useful to know. Taxis are a good staple, flexible, yada yada yada. Depot. I feel like taxis are going to be fairly self-explanatory. Let's have a quick look. Trains, the rail yard provides you both passengers and cargo. So that's confirming what that first one was. Train station, upgraded with additional platforms and connected to other forms of public transportation. So that means that we will now be able to create our own hubs rather than great content creators making them for us. Could be interesting for sure. Run tram lines on roads or dedicated networks. So we already knew about this from the first couple, but we can just upgrade any type of road basically to have any type of tram track. Very excited about that. Subways. Underground subway station doesn't require much space and easily fit between buildings. Water transportation features both passenger and cargo options. Ships can transport a higher number of passengers. To and outside connections. Intercity water transport requires access to map edges by seaways. That makes sense. And then air transport. Again, both passenger and cargo. It's nice to see how many of the DLC from CS1 they've already implemented in CS2. I'm very happy about that. Cargo types. Okay, so we've got the train terminal. Again, so let's reinforce my idea that one was both. One was passenger, one was cargo. Cargo ships. We've already discussed a lot of cargo coming from those. This facility looks really wonderful. I really hope these things move. And then air cargo. Let's have a look at this. Transport gameplay basics. Depot, stops and stations, tracks and roads, lines. Makes sense. Oh god, look at this. This is beautiful, seeing how all this connects. I do like that. Again, planes, transport overview. These are huge maps. I love these so much. Again, I think most of this we've talked about. Live panel, we've already seen quite a nice amount about. Oh, now this one actually looks like a dead end stop. We've never had that before. Usually trams have always had to do a loop. I've got a feeling that maybe now we can stop them here and then go back. I'm trying to see which one this... Oh, we're not following this one, so we're not sure. Oh, now that's interesting. So trams might never need to do a U-turn anymore. They can just dead-end stop and carry on going backwards. I can't see anything in here confirming that, But having that as like the last stop kind of makes me feel that way. Could be wrong. But I think that's everything that we've got time for this one. I've been recording for 38 minutes, so it's going to be a slightly longer video. Thanks for bearing with us and watching till the end. Next one will be next Monday, Zones and Signature Buildings. Very interesting to see. I'm going to guess that they're going to be talking more about the residential demand, but I'll see you next Monday for that. And if you are willing, every Saturday, 3 PM BST, we do our live playthrough of Cities Skylines, completely custom, no zoned buildings, heavily modded. I'll see you there if you want to. Bye now.